Good morning and welcome to our last full day in Hamburg. Today we're actually going to head up northeast to go see Lübeck. While I was talking to some colleagues about our trip to Hamburg, one of them mentioned that I have to go see Lübeck. It's apparently a really cool coastal old town city. It used to be very powerful back in the 16th century, 15th century. It controlled a lot of merchants and a lot of the shipping coming through the Baltic. Anyways, the train ride is about 45 minutes long. We're going to go check it out. As you can tell, it's pretty early here in Hamburg. We have reservations at an experience later on today at about 4:45 back here in Hamburg. I mentioned it in yesterday's vlog, but it's an experience where you get to go see what it's like to be blind or visually impaired. Basically, you are guided through a dark room or a dark house by someone who's blind or visually impaired, and you get to see what it's like and how different things can impact you on those experiences. So that should be interesting. That also means we have a deadline in Lübeck, but it should be like 4 to 6 hours, which should be enough to see some of the major sites in Lübeck. We may not be able to experience the full city, but let's go see Lübeck. This is a cute little town with lots of cool buildings, but it's very cold. My hands are freezing. I know this is what we kind of expected, but it is very, very quiet here in Lübeck on Sunday, as is most of Germany on Sunday, but there's not a lot of people here right now, which is nice. The city is beautiful. There's so many cool buildings and interesting architecture, and the list goes on and on. But anyways, we're about halfway through all the things we have marked down. Wait for the bus. Anyways, we're about halfway through the list of places we wanted to see here in Lübeck, and so let's keep going. Alrighty, well, this cathedral church behind me was the last thing on our list that we were going to do today in Lübeck. So now we're just gonna kind of walk around and meander our way back to the train station to go back to Hamburg. It's been a few hours since we got here this morning, and the city, like I said, is beautiful. The architecture is amazing. We're gonna take our time heading back to the train station, and then it's time to head back to Hamburg. time to do the visually impaired experience thing. We'll see what it's like and we'll report back afterwards. All right, that was a really cool experience. We basically went inside this, we walked around in pitch black darkness, and we were in a bunch of different scenarios. Like one of the scenarios where we were trying to cross the street, and they had like they had the accessibility things that are underneath street crossing signals that vibrates when you're crossing the street. We were walking through a park, and we had to go across 2 bridges. And one of the bridges kind of swayed a little bit, which was really weird. Elizabeth did okay. I did all right. One of the things that you did inside of this exhibit was you were given a walking stick. Everybody was given a walking stick. And that was how you kind of walked around and figured out what was around you. And it took me a while to figure out how to use the walking stick properly, to not just whack everything, but instead actually use it to measurably find things around me. Like, I had to keep track of where Elizabeth was using her voice, but then I had to make sure I wasn't running into or whacking the person in front of me. And it was hard to determine what was a foot, what was a ledge, what was a wall, and so you just kind of had to move the stick around a bunch. I definitely got lost. Elizabeth definitely got lost a few times in the darkness. I definitely got lost a few times in the darkness, but it's one of our favorite things we've done in Europe so far, was this random experience in Hamburg. So you never know what you're gonna find. Anyways, if you ever have the ability to go do a dialogue in the dark, it's a really cool experience, and I'm glad we did it. Now we're gonna go get some food and carry on in Hamburg.